Hi, it's Lee, and welcome to the Tesla Economist. Okay, so we have that disastrous Q3 out the way. Wait, disastrous? No, it was fine. Tesla produced a record amount of vehicles, 60,000 more than ever produced than any other quarter before. Yet somehow the stock has dropped to $220 at the time of this video. Even after that disastrous Q2 result, which was a disastrous quarter, the stock only dropped to about that same level. The main thing is here that Tesla are not going to push deliveries now at the cost of profits. They don't have to prove as much. They don't feel the need to prove anything in order to stressfully push out the last deliveries and at great expense. We're talking about the equivalent of 5 days of production not reaching their customers in time out of 92 days of production. And this lag in deliveries is mainly going to be felt the first quarter they decide to do this. From here on in, it shouldn't be so bad. What do I mean? Well, the 22,000 additional cars, the difference from production and deliveries, well, they can now be delivered in Q4. And if Tesla even fails to deliver 30,000 of their produced cars in Q4, then they still have these additional 22,000 to deliver from Q3. In other words, if it was 30,000, the difference would only be 8,000, as in deliveries may only be 8,000 fewer than production for Q4. And this is a quarter with a big difference from the previous. In the future, it may just be a few thousand, which will be almost a rounding error, as production continues to increase at staggering rates. However, as this is Q4, the end of the year quarter, and the biggest selling quarter for autos, then Tesla may actually make an additional effort, and we even see those 22,000 missed vehicles from Q3 included in this Q4. 22,000 vehicles is a lot, presumably the majority from Giga Shanghai, but that's still possibly $250 million extra in earnings for the quarter. It's not nothing. But okay, Q4, a potential dream quarter with line upgrades in full effect in Shanghai and even some ramping up in Fremont. Well, between these two factories alone, there's a possibility of them collectively producing 440,000 units. I said possibility, not necessarily an estimate. This would obviously be a more positive number. That would then leave 60,000 units from the two latest state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities if we want to see 500,000 for Q4. Does that sound achievable? Well, we've heard that Tesla have hit 2,000 cars a week in Berlin. Now, that's actually a decent number. It's almost as much as a non-Tesla BEV production line reaches. However, it has obviously taken Tesla some time to hit this number, which is still relatively low by Tesla standards. But possibly it's a turning point, and the ramping up may occur at a faster rate now. On the other hand, we don't know the actual constraint. It may very well be that Tesla don't have enough cells to ramp up any faster than this. They're getting their cells from BYD. They would need a lot of cells to ramp up, and each cell sold to Tesla is potentially cells that could have gone into BYD vehicles. On the other hand, we've seen BYD's vehicle production increase rapidly lately, so they may very well have an influx of more cells that they're now able to sell to Tesla. But anyway, if we are at 2,000 units a week at the start of the quarter, that would be 26,000 total for the quarter. Of course, we would hope more ramping to occur too. Tesla's saying they intend to hit volume production, i.e. 5,000 a week, by the end of the year, but then push that number out until early next year. Either way, that's a massive jump in just a few months, which would lead us to believe there should still be additional ramping through the quarter. We could say 2,000 a week for October, 3,000 a week for November, and 4,000 a week for December. Perhaps we could even that out to 35,000 total for Q4 from Berlin. Then Texas, which last we heard about a month ago, Tesla was still just at 1,000 a week there. This factory has been disappointing. We had such high hopes for the new sales and vehicles. We haven't been given much guidance as to where this is headed for Q4. The last thing we were told was that 4680s would most likely hit volume production this quarter. But how about we just place 20,000 units from Texas for the entire quarter, averaging just 1,500 a week. If Shanghai and Fremont produce 440,000 and the other two factories produce 55,000, then that's 495,000 vehicles. If Tesla did push deliveries extra hard for the end of the year and even included some of the vehicles that were not delivered from Q3, then they could actually break 500,000 deliveries for the quarter. Just throwing out the possibility there, we don't really know what Shanghai's potential run rate is. Some people speculate 100,000 a month or even higher. But what if we wind down some of these numbers a bit to give a more realistic idea? For the record, we heard that Shanghai did hit 83,000 in September. If we cut back Shanghai to 86,000 a month, or a total of 260,000 for the quarter, and reduce Berlin slightly too, then we get 460,000. Then potentially some of the extra production from Q3. Vehicle demand is always the highest in Q4 too, again not factoring in potential shutdowns for any reasons and assuming smooth running. But even at 450,000 deliveries, that's still going to be a massive leap from 344,000 deliveries in Q3. Still over 30% more vehicles delivered quarter over quarter. Although it is expected, I think the market may need to actually see it to believe it. Due to all the rhetoric about Tesla's demand dropping, perhaps they need to see a big jump still. I know a lot is going on with Tesla right now. There's so much noise about Tesla having demand issues again. The competition taking over Tesla's market share. It's the same rhetoric that we've been hearing for some time. Yet, when you check the specifications of the competition vehicles, well, they are not close to Tesla's. No one's hitting Tesla's level of range, especially not when accompanied by their performance too. But even if they were, it all changes as soon as Tesla hit high volume production with 4680 sales. And last we heard, this was still most likely to happen in Q4. What Tesla can do is much more important compared to what they have done. This milestone marks Tesla's future of where they're headed. To be honest, most of the business right now has just been from Chinese LFP sales. Nothing that special relative to Tesla. Although somehow Tesla managed to get that much more range, performance than everyone else with the same sales and such high volume production. But the rest of Tesla is based on technology from over 6 years ago. The 2170 cell from Giga Nevada, which was only a slight improvement from the 18650 cell from over 10 years ago. I've spoken at length as to what this new cell really means for the future of the company. This is far more exciting than having to worry about Tesla maybe dropping their prices in China by a couple of $1,000s. These 4680 cells are what matters more than any of this other noise. 4680s are worth trillions. The numbers are simple, the technique is not. But we've already seen them accomplish the DBE for the anode. So I think they'll do it. I think we can all agree though that I could do with some closure on it. And I get the feeling that I'm not the only one. In the meantime, I'll keep making videos as a coping mechanism to handle the wait and help us all be a little bit more patient. Good things take time, but miracles take a little longer. Just ignore all the haters in the meantime. Bottom line is that the last couple of quarters are not an accurate cross-section of where Tesla is currently. This Q4 will be a much better representation of where we are. Okay, unfortunately the Forex issues will reduce profits, but in reality, what is more important are the margins. They shouldn't have been affected as much, due to local manufacturing and supplies. But judging by these numbers, I think Q4 deliveries should realistically be in the 470,000 area, assuming nothing major goes wrong, and likely also assuming we don't hit 4680 volume production either. With Tesla and Elon, there are always plenty of wildcards, but no one cares about their electric car company as much as Elon. He's going to do everything he can to make it succeed, and he has proven himself yet again and again that he certainly is a highly capable individual. Nonetheless, if anything, at least being a Tesla investor keeps us entertained. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.